Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another episode. Today we're going to be talking about SD card speed. So if you've got, a big camera like this, or you've got the Osmo, I got a DJI Osmo Action right here, or you're running a GoPro that shoots 4K, so this is a 7, but of course we've got the 8 and all that good stuff. You're using SD cards. Now of course SD cards are these little tiny things like this. There you go. Little tiny SD cards. And if you've ever shopped for SD cards, you know that on the market there are tons of different varieties, and sometimes it can be hard to choose. What's the difference? Is there a speed difference? Does it affect the cameras? And obviously the answer is it absolutely does. I've actually had problems with my Osmo Action recently, which is this guy here, a competitor for the GoPro from DJI. And I was having an issue with it. So what it does is, like all these action cameras, they shoot continuously. So this means that you can turn them on to a power source and shoot for 8 hours as long as your memory card doesn't run out of storage space. And what it does is it cuts them into incremental files of around 5 gig or 4 gig, something like that each. And what was happening, mine was getting interrupted. It would just stop recording all on its own, and then 10 minutes later would kick back on and start recording again. I thought it was a power source. I actually had no idea what it was, and I did some testing and I figured out that it was actually the SD card running too slow. I switched to a faster SD card and it worked. Even though the SD card had the same rating, the same speed rating and everything, it was too slow. So today we're going to talk about which cards are the fastest. So we're going to take a few very popular brands, ones that you can find on Amazon that sell really well, and we're going to see if there's a difference. So let's talk about what we're going to compare, okay? We're going to be doing a speed test on the Samsung version, all right, which is this guy here. So this is the Samsung Evo. This is a 256 gig card, and we're going to be comparing the SanDisk Extreme, which is probably the most popular on the market, and this is a 128 gig card, although 128 or 256 doesn't really matter. And then we're going to be testing a very popular option that's on Amazon, because sometimes it's almost half the price, and it's called Gigastone. All right, let's see, I don't know if that's zooming in or not there, it might be a little blurry, but that's okay. So we're going to be working with the Gigastone. So Gigastone is a competitor that looks very much like a SanDisk. It's got the same rating, almost the identical label, and it's a really cheap alternative that I've been using before for my older GoPro that shot at 1080p in 60 frames per second. And so we're going to test that one out, because that's the one that was in the Osmo that was giving me problems, and I switched to the Samsung and it worked perfectly. So we're going to go ahead and do actual tests. We're going to jump on the computer, we're going to take a look, and I'm going to tell you which one's faster. So for those of you that are coming on here wondering, maybe you're about to buy the Gigastone and you want to compare it, you want to see how it ranks up against SanDisk and against Samsung, you're about to find out. All right, stay tuned. So one thing really quick, guys, before we keep going, if you want to help me out and you appreciate this kind of content, you found this video useful, or you find my videos useful, if you would please just go ahead and hit the like button, okay? Just smack the like button. It takes literally 2 seconds while I'm jib-jabbering on. Just hit the like button. It helps grow the channel. It helps raise the awareness in the YouTube algorithm, so we get placed more in the searches, and it just really helps build the channel, and it gets more subscribers, more eyes on these videos. So guys, like the video please, if you don't mind, and we'll get going. Now, the other question really quick, by the way, and if you want to just jump to the speed tests, all of my videos have chapters, so if you don't want to hear me prattle on and you want to just jump right to it, just look below and you'll see the chapters are there on the video timeline, and you can just click. But really quick, why do we even care about this? Well, don't forget, videos write at a certain bit rate to the card. So the bigger the video, so if you go to 4K and 4K 60 FPS, we're talking major speeds that are required. Now, I'm not going to do a video, we're not going to really talk about what are those bit rate speeds and what kind of megabit or megabyte rate you need, because it's kind of a mess. You can do a bunch of research online for that. It's not really the purpose of the video today. Today we're just going to go ahead and find out which one of these are faster, okay? We're just comparing these cards, but if you want to go check it out online, you can get a better understanding of megabits and megabytes and bit rates and Mbps and all that stuff. It's kind of confusing and not very standardized. It can be hard to understand, so that's why we're not even going to bother in the video, okay? So let's get to it. Let's jump on the computer and let's start the race. Let's see which one of these cards are faster. Let's do it.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Okay guys, before we get started, let's talk about the program we're going to use to test. So I'm going to be using called H2 Test W. This is specifically designed for testing SD cards and flash cards. So this will actually tell us what is the write speed and the read speed. So let's start off with the Gigastone. So here on Amazon, you can see the Gigastone, and it's going for a whole 20 bucks, all right? So $20 is the cost for the 128 gig cards, and I'm on .com, so all these prices are gonna be in US. And you can see here, this is a 128 gig card. It says right here, it's for 4K recording, read write up to 100/50. So it reads out 100 megabit, and it writes at 50 megabyte. So this is a big B, so it's megabytes per second. Now, I will tell you that when I've seen this listing before, it actually said read write up to 100. So it's good that they at least started putting the 50 because it didn't say that. And you can see this is a V30. So this means that it writes at least 30 megabytes per second. And it's also a U3 category. I don't see it here. That's the UHS. This is the UHS rating. And you can see here on the card, it actually says U3. You can see it above the I on the bottom right of the card. So let's test this one first and let's see how this one holds up, okay? So let's load our program. So when this starts off, by the way, it is in German, so I'm just gonna switch it to English. Select the target. Let me just select the target really quick. So we're gonna do D. Click OK. By default, it tries to test all available space, but we only need to do a small test. So I'm going to do only 500 megabytes, and I'm going to go ahead and click Write and Verify. Don't worry about this. It's just saying that it's not testing the entire card, which is fine. Click OK, and it'll go ahead and write. And you can see it's hitting like, there you go, 44, 44.5, 46. Okay, there you go, it's done. So it achieved a write speed of up to 46.3 megs, and it hit a read speed of 80.3 megs per second, all right? So 46 and 83. So what we'll do is we'll just copy paste that. Let's make a note of that, and we'll continue to compete with the other ones. By the way, I'm very surprised at the price because typically the Gigastone brand is cheaper than all of the other name brands. So I'm kind of surprised that this price is around $20. So let's see if we can find something around the same price or cheaper that's better than what we just measured. Okay, next up, we are looking at the Samsung. This is the 128 gig, and once again, it is a U3 V30 rated card. So now this one here says read write speeds up to 100 meg read and 60 meg write. So let's take a look and see how that does. All right, let's get that tested. Okay, we'll just select the target here, make sure we got the right one. Okay, only 100, let's do it. Right away, blowing past the Gigastone right now, blowing past. So there you go, this one's almost 60. I mean, this is pretty much 60 as it mentioned before what it could hit. So there you go, 60 and 82 for the Samsung. So let's go ahead and make a note of that, and we'll move on to the next one. All right, and finally we've got the gold standard of SD cards, SanDisk, the 128 Extreme, also a U3 card, V30 rated, and this is the 128 gig, and if we look down here, it's got read speeds of up to 160 gig and write speeds of up to 90. So this is the fastest advertised one. Now, like I said, you gotta be careful on Amazon because sometimes, depending on who's selling it, they give the wrong description. I noticed there is a bit of a discrepancy between .ca and .com, where some of them actually just put up to 100 megabyte per second read and write, which is completely false. So let's go ahead and test this guy out. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Boom, look at this rocket ship going. Definitely not hitting Definitely not hitting 90, but still way faster. Write speed 73.5 megs per second, so already way faster. And you can see that it's $23.99 compared to the Gigastone. So really good speed test. Let's make a note of that one, and I got one more that I want to show off. All right, here's a little bonus comparison that we're gonna do. This is the SanDisk Ultra. So this is a 128 gig card. And this time it's a U1, and it's also rated a 10. So where we talked about that V rating before, like a V30, means it's up to 30 meg, a minimum 30 megabyte per second write. This is only a 10. So you've seen me mention before how it's important to look up what kind of card you use with your device. Make sure you're using the recommended one, and some people are just like, nah, any card will do. Well, you're about to see why the SanDisk Extreme is recommended for a GoPro and not the Ultra. So we're gonna go ahead and test the speeds on this Ultra. Okay, the Ultra's in. Let's do it. Look at the difference, guys. There you go. So write speed, so the read speeds are pretty much consistent throughout every single one, low 80s, but you can see the write speed on this is the 31. So that's why this particular unit has no chance of working. This SD card will not work when you're shooting HD, Ultra HD. So if you're doing 2.7K or 4K at 60 FPS, there's no way this card is going to keep up with those write speeds. And that's why you cannot use the SanDisk Ultra. If you use it inside of a GoPro 7, 8, or I guess 9 now, it'll freeze. So that's why they lock up. So as you can see, again, huge difference. And what's interesting about this is that if we just close this, you can see it's actually the same price, which is pretty crazy. So shop around, guys. That's why you got to look around. All right, guys, so here we go. This is our test, the result of our tests. So the Gigastone 4K comes in at 20 bucks, and the fastest speed that it could hit was 46.3. The Samsung Evo at $16.99 came in at pretty much 60 as advertised, with just about the same read speed, but significantly faster, and actually $3 cheaper. Then the SanDisk Extreme came rocking into the party at 24 bucks and hits 73.5 megs per second. And then you've got the Ultra that we tried out just to see what that could do, and it hit 31.5. So best bang for your buck is obviously the Evo, but if you want to be shooting 4K like I will be doing with my new camera that I've got coming soon for shooting videos, and I'm going to run 4K at 60p, I am obviously going to go with the SanDisk Extreme and nothing else. So my recommendation, go the extra bucks and get this SanDisk Extreme. You can see right here in this test we actually did, there is clearly a difference. All right, guys, I got to wrap it up. It's starting to get dark outside already, so we're going to wrap up this video, but I hope you found this useful. Now, in terms of durability and quality, out of all of these cards that I've tested, I've been using all of these for about a year now, except for the Samsung. But in terms of the Gigastone, it's actually been fine. I haven't had any problems with it not reading, not writing, breaking, whatever, detecting. It's worked perfectly. So in terms of durability and quality, all of the cards seem to be the same. I have not had any issue with them. So if that's a concern, I wouldn't be worried about it. And Samsung has a tremendous reputation for their cards, so I wouldn't be worried about that. But again, I think at the end of the day, except for maybe some of the slower cameras, the action cameras, I think the Samsung Evo is great. But if you're going to be shooting full-on 4K 60p and you want the best quality output as possible and not worry about the card, you probably want to go with the SanDisk. There's a reason why it's pretty much #1 in the industry and the gold standard. It's because, as you saw on the screen, it really is the fastest. So guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much. I hope this helps you guys out, because I know a lot of you out there shoot a lot of content. You're doing vlogs, you're doing YouTube videos as well. You've got cameras running on your boat, on your chest cams, whatever. So maybe you had a question, are these cards worth it or not? And like I said, the Gigastone, although in this, what we just saw was not cheaper, usually it's cheaper. Usually it's about 35% cheaper than a SanDisk. In this case, it was only $3 cheaper. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much. Don't forget, hit the like button if you enjoy this kind of stuff, and make sure you're subscribed, and we will see you on the next video. Peace.